Everything we did and everywhere we stayed on our 9-day trip to Costa Rica. Day 1, we flew from Orlando to San Jose. The first part of this adventure I'm hosting with Trova Trip. Got off the flight, met up with our new friends, and all took our first transfer together to the Palma Real in San Jose, where we spent our first night. We all checked in, hung out downstairs in the lobby, got to know each other, and took a transfer to dinner at Cafe Mundo, where we got to know each other a little bit more. Next morning, we had breakfast at the hotel, checked out, and then the 14 of us took our private transportation together up to Sarapiqui. It was about 2.5 hours, and we took a hike to the Pozo Azul waterfall. We hiked back up, and we had lunch there. Then we drove about another hour to the Era Ambigua Lodge, which is where we spent the majority of our time while exploring Sarapiqui together. We ate dinner together at the hotel, woke up the next morning, and this was probably our busiest day on the Trova trip. We ate breakfast at the hotel, and then we took our transportation only about 20 minutes to the Chile Mate Eco Retreat, where we did a 3-hour group meditation forest therapy session. We had lunch there and then drove back to our hotel, where we had a few hours to relax. Some of us hung out by the pool, some people took naps in their room. And then we drove about 15 minutes to Terrambina. We had a really interactive chocolate tour and learned the history of chocolate and got to taste it. And we also ate dinner here, and then went on an hour guided night walk tour through the jungle and saw a sloth. The next morning we had breakfast at the hotel again and went to Finco Eco Organica at Sarapiqui, and Gabriel gave us a tour of his farm. Yes, this is the man who went viral, giving me a fresh coconut and telling all of TikTok that I'm having a girl. This tour was actually amazing. We learned so much about the agriculture, and this was genuinely the best pineapple I've ever had. They also made us some fresh coffee to try. We enjoyed the most beautiful views, and they fed us lunch. After our tour, everybody got dropped off at a ziplining adventure, except for me because I'm knocked up, so I played in the pool. We played cards, a few girls got some drinks, then we had dinner, and we're already waking up. It's day 5. This is the last day of our Trova trip, so we had breakfast at the hotel, packed up, checked out, and we took our private transportation about 3 hours down to San Jose. About halfway, we stopped at a market for a bathroom break, snack break, and lots of us got some fresh smoothies. This was the most delicious smoothie I've ever had. Once we got to San Jose, we stopped at this little market so the girls can get some souvenirs, and then kind of split up and did our own thing for lunch. A bunch of us went and got lunch at this one little spot, and then we checked into our hotel. We kept our bags and our private transportation with our driver. And for our last night on the Trova trip, we stayed at Auténtico Hotel, and then we had our farewell dinner at this little spot where we had dinner and a show. It was very interactive. A bunch of us got up to dance, and dinner was delicious. We woke up, had breakfast at the hotel, said goodbye to all the girls who were traveling home that day, checked out ourselves, and then me and my 2 best friends picked up our rental car, and we are driving across the mountains, ending our trip on the Caribbean coast. The drive took around 5 hours. We stopped halfway for lunch and then stopped at the grocery store before checking into our Airbnb, putting our bathing suits on, and went straight to the beach. We took a few maternity photos because when you're pregnant in Costa Rica, you got to do that. And we walked and got some dinner, went to bed, woke up, and we're already on day 7. We started with breakfast at Gypsy Lounge Cafe. Then we explored our first beach of the day, Punta Uva. Oh my goodness, absolutely beautiful water. We had so much fun just hanging out here. We took a little walk, stumbled across somewhere for lunch, shared a few meals, then drove over to another beach in Punta Uva where we could go rent kayaks. We kayaked down the river for about an hour. We saw so many monkeys in the trees, lots of turtles. It was really a lot of fun and calm and relaxing. And then we did a very short, moderate hike to check out the viewpoint in Punta Uva, and it was fun and beautiful, and I definitely recommend doing that. We then drove down to our third beach of the day, Manzanillo, where we checked out this cool shipwreck, and then drove into Puerto Viejo town where we got some ice cream, walked around some shops, had some dinner, and then went back to our Airbnb. Day 8 is our last full day in Puerto Viejo. We ate breakfast again at Gypsy Lounge Cafe and then decided to go check out a national forest. We saw some sloths hung on the beach, ate lunch, and then drove to go check out the black sand beach. Of course, we took some more maternity photos. Then we shared pizza and pasta for dinner at the restaurant that's right next to Gypsy Cafe. It looked really cute. And that brings us to day 9, which makes me realize we actually technically spent 10 days in Costa Rica. This morning we checked out of our Airbnb, stopped for breakfast at Bread and Chocolate, and then drove up to the sloth sanctuary about 45 minutes north. We took a little canoe ride, saw monkeys in the trees, and then learned so much about the sloths. Then we drove about 2.5 hours. We stayed right outside of San Jose on a little coffee farm. We went out for one last dinner together, and that brings us to the final of our trip. It's day 10. We're traveling home today. We got breakfast, dropped off our rental car, went to the airport, flew home, and I was finally reconnected with my firstborn, love of my life, my spicy tuna roll. Her name is Moon. I'm obsessed with her. I'm so happy to be home. Next up, I'm giving birth, and then our family's planning on getting our baby our passport. And we're going to spend the month of November as a family of 4 abroad. My boyfriend wants us to go to Costa Rica, so it looks like we're going to end the year in Costa Rica.